There's a particular moment when you study early 20th century field gear long enough where you recognize that the roots of today's ultralight culture didn't begin in the 1990s or with modern outdoor brands. They began in muddy trenches, supply-starved outposts, and the brutally practical engineering of armies that needed to move men, equipment and shelter with absolute efficiency. The First World War did far more than reshape borders. It reshaped how human beings lived outdoors. Soldiers had to survive weeks in the field with only what they could carry, repair what they used, and adapt constantly. And if you've ever looked closely at the gear lists soldiers carried in 1914 to 1918, you will notice something striking. Modern backpackers have simply refined much of what the WWI camp kit already established. This guide walks through that lineage and shows how those old ideas can still elevate your outdoor setup today. The foundation of modern loadouts began when armies streamlined what a person could realistically carry. Before the First World War, soldiers often marched with bulky haversacks, rolled greatcoats, and canvas shelter pieces that weighed more than many civilians realize today. Once trench warfare set in, every kilogram mattered. Armies started refining gear into what we would now recognize as a system. The British soldier carried a mess tin, enamel cup, shelter half, water bottle, basic tools, and ration setup. The Germans had a nearly identical arrangement with a personal cookpot, bread bag, canteen, and rolled shelter half strapped externally. The Americans adopted versions of both. What all three nations learned was this: if you want a field-ready kit, everything must nest, stack, and support everything else. A pot that fits inside a larger pot isn't a modern invention. WWI did that first. The mess tin that doubles as a fry pan, also WWI. A pack system where equipment remains accessible even while moving. Another WWI innovation. If you want to see how this applies to the modern backpacker, look at your cook kit. Whether you use a titanium pot, alcohol stove, a nested cup, or a steel billy can with a folding stove inside, you're using the same nesting philosophy the 1910s introduced. It reduces bulk, prevents rattling, and saves valuable pack space. Try building your own WWI-inspired nesting system using only what you already own. You'll notice immediately how much simpler your loadout becomes. The shelter innovations from WWI directly shaped the modern tarp and bivvy movement. When armies realized they couldn't move heavy tents fast enough, they split shelters into individual components. Each soldier carried a shelter half that could work alone as a lean-to or button, together with another soldier's half to form a two-man tent. This was one of the first widely standardized versions of modular shelter, something ultralight backpackers treat as common sense today. The idea wasn't about comfort, it was about speed and adaptability. If a patrol needed a quick windbreak, one shelter half went up in minutes. If a squad needed cover for the night, the halves combined. A modern backpacker or survivalist can apply this concept easily. Carry a tarp that works in multiple roles, as a standalone lean-to, a ground sheet, a roof panel, or, paired with another tarp for a full enclosure. The principle is, well, timeless. The best shelter is the one that adapts to unexpected terrain, weather, and time pressure. The soldiers of the Great War didn't have the luxury of tents with exotic fabrics. They had canvas, rope, and training. Yet the versatility of their shelter halves is exactly what inspires modern tarp systems today. The cookware and fire kit carried by First World War soldiers quietly shaped today's minimalist cooking philosophy. Look at the German M1910 cookpot with its two-piece mess tin and simple wire handle. Look at the British Mark I mess tin with its oval shape designed to ride against the body without bouncing. These weren't just containers. They were fuel-saving devices meant to boil water fast, heat rations quickly, and, well, clean easily in freezing conditions. They also taught soldiers the discipline of one-pot cooking long before backpackers romanticized it. When you learn to cook everything from stews to coffee to ration mash in one container, you reduce clean-up time, fuel consumption, and pack complexity. If you want to apply this today, challenge yourself on your next camping trip. Use only one pot, one cup, and one utensil for every meal. You'll learn exactly why soldiers relied on that system and how efficient it really is. You also eliminate unnecessary weight, just like they did, by trimming your cook kit to the essentials. The personal repair, maintenance and self-reliance kits of World War I soldiers resemble modern EDC and survival kits. Every soldier carried a sewing kit, polishing kit, basic tools and items for field repairs. The mentality was simple. Once you step away from the supply line, your gear must survive because you must survive. That mindset drives modern EDC culture, patching shelters, fixing straps, maintaining blades, and repairing clothing before small problems become big ones. The World War I kit emphasized self-reliance because failure in the field could mean exposure, sickness, or worse. The term survival kit wasn't used at the time, but that's essentially what they carried. Try putting together a World War I-style maintenance pouch for your modern gear. Include a needle, strong thread, a small sharpening tool, waxed cordage, a few buttons, and some cloth patches. You'll find that when something breaks, having the ability to fix it instantly feels like stepping back into the mindset of soldiers who depended on their equipment in far harsher conditions. The reason the World War I camp kit continues to influence modern backpacking is because the fundamentals never went out of style. A century later, we've replaced steel with titanium, canvas with synthetics, and wool blankets with down quilts. But the principles are the same. Carry only what works. Make every item serve multiple purposes. Keep the weight manageable and maintain your equipment as if your life depends on it. World War I forced nations to rethink outdoor living at scale, and that forged the blueprint for the gear we use today. If you want more historically grounded outdoor wisdom, make sure you subscribe to the channel, share this video with someone who appreciates real fieldcraft history, and help us keep this community growing strong.